On this episode of Locked On Angels, I get to play GM for the day because it's my turn, and as far as we know, Perry hasn't made any more moves. So I'm excited about that, at least for today. So what's my philosophy? What's my strategy? Who's on my team? Who am I trading away? I'm sharing it all, and the winning is going to start right here. It's time to get locked on with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SiriusXM by searching Locked On Angels. And if you'd like to get back to the Super Halo Bros for all the Super Halo content, here's some things that you can do. Leave us a rate and a review on Apple Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and become a Locked On Everydayer. And whether you're watching or listening, come over to YouTube, leave a comment. It's one of the best ways to get in touch with John and I and be a part of the conversation. And this episode of Locked On Angels is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Thanks for being here for this episode of Locked On Angels, where it's your team every day. You've got the Frisch Brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Hey, we've been lifelong fans of the Halos, so we're so happy to be your hosts of Locked On Angels, where we're talking Angels baseball 5 days a week over this offseason, waiting on moves, waiting on trades, waiting on all that good stuff. And I feel like anything is going to be better than last year. Not only did the Angels have a terrible offseason, the offseason sucked, in general. Nobody did anything, even during the winter meetings. So hopefully we don't have that again. But we are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, until about mid-December. We'll drop down to 3 episodes and then ramp back up to 5 shortly before spring training. On today's show, Mike is the GM, gets to put his GM hat on and do some GM things around here. And first, I want to preface this conversation with the fact that we have a couple rules that we abide by. First is that we don't pick the same players for entertainment's sake. We call that kayfabe in the wrestling business. And that's what we're doing here. So Mike and I have picked entirely different players. You guys heard my picks on Wednesday. Mike has his picks for today. I also want to remind everybody that the Angels sit at about 170 million or so in terms of payroll, but for luxury tax purposes, that's going to be about 183, 185-ish for the luxury tax. And the first penalty this year sits at 241 million. So Mike, that gives you about 53, 54 million to play with here. So let's get into your strategy, your philosophy, your plan, your Mike wisdom, if you will.
All right. My strategy is 3 layers deep.
Ooh,
and then there's a side caveat that I want to talk about after the 3rd layer.
It's like a tiramisu.
I don't have it in the notes because I didn't want you to see it, but it was something I was considering, and then I paused, and I'd love your thoughts on why I paused. I'd love you to respond to that. Okay, so here's the first layer. I'm ending the Anthony Rendon drama.
Hey,
I'm releasing him, and I'm paying his salary. I'm getting him off my team. And the reason why I want him off my team is because I just don't want that kind of mess anymore.
Wow.
These young guys, they need an infusion of excitement. They need an infusion of talent. And I just think it's time to get him off the team. I saw a couple of reports. Again, it's all ethereal. It's kind of out there. But I saw a couple of reports that Rendon's not doing great. And that he's just like everything's kind of broken down in him. Don't know if it's true or not. That didn't play into my decision. I just think it's time to get him off the team. If he goes and plays out of his mind somewhere else, I'm 100% fine with that because
more power to him.
I'm over him on the team, right? So I'm done with Anthony Rendon. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for you. Let's go.
All right, layer number 2. I'm going to make some financial room. So I'm stretching our rules a little bit here, John. I'm trading Taylor Ward, and I'm going to get his $9 million off of this team, and I'm going to trade him for a prospect or 2. I want to get something good. I'm not trading him for anybody on the major league roster because I'm going to sign some free agents. So I'm trading Taylor Ward. Layer number 3, I'm going all in on Roki Sasaki. I'm going all in. I'm doing whatever I can to go and get him. Now, there are some details about Sasaki. He can't sign an MLB deal, and here's why. If he's posted right now, he's considered an amateur under MLB International free agency guidelines. And that stipulates that a player must be 25 years of age and have 6+ seasons of professional ball under his belt. Sasaki's only 23, but it feels like he's been around forever and ever and ever. And as an amateur, he would be restricted to a minor league deal with a signing. He could get a signing bonus, but that would come from the league's hard capped bonus pool system. So I did some research, John. The Angels have that international bonus pool money. They have about $3 million, if my calculations are correct.
Yeah.
And so I would use all of that and give it to Roki Sasaki. And here's why. And then I want your thoughts. Okay. Here's why. In Japan, he has a career 2.10 ERA, a 32.7 strikeout rate, and a 5.7 walk rate. And so
pretty sweet splitter to boot too.
Yes. Guy's fantastic. So give me your thoughts on my philosophy going after Sasaki.
So the $3 million in international bonus pool money left for this year, as in the calendar year of 2024.
Yes.
Okay. Alternatively, and I believe this is what a lot of teams are going to do, is you can use next year's 2025 bonus pool money, which is about $6.7 million, I believe, for the Angels. I tweeted, I think it was Locked On Every Day or Nathan or username Nate. That's his username. I'm surprised I remembered that. But he was asking about what it would take to get Sasaki. And yeah, the Angels are not in the top bonus pool, but they are in the next bonus pool down. The fortunate part is that the Dodgers and the Giants are way at the bottom of the bonus pool. However, their bonus pool is still about $5 million. Mike, the thing about Sasaki coming over is that it is going to be essentially the same path as Shohei Ohtani, where every team kind of has the ability to sign them, especially with the bonus pool money, and it depends on how much you want to use, but that's the incentive to sign with you. And then where do you want to be? What team do you want to play for? And so it's a lot different than regular free agency. For example, on Wednesday, I wanted to do Ha-Seong Kim, and thank you for James Pack for telling us the appropriate...
Our bowling buddy.
That's right. The appropriate way to say that. So Ha-Seong Kim from the KBO, he will be a regular free agent, so to speak. So he doesn't fall under these rules. So yeah, with Sasaki, he qualifies as the amateur international free agent. So like you said, you can use that bonus pool money. I think now, that's probably neither here nor there for the purposes of this exercise, but just to inform everybody, I believe that they can use that money in January when that signing window opens. And so I think the Angels might actually have some more to go around if they hang on and do that in January. That'd be kind of cool.
Now he has to post and they have to get permission, all of that stuff. And none of that has happened just yet. So that's the third layer. Here's the fourth layer. And it's really about something that I didn't do, but I heavily considered it. And the reason why I didn't do it is because the person that I was looking to sign has a qualifying offer. And when you talked on Wednesday, one of the things that kind of hit me was like, I want to be as factual and reality based in this as I can be. And Artie has said that he wants to build for now and for the future. That's why Sasaki's intriguing to me, but also why I ended up not making this move. I was going to go all in on Alex Bregman. And the reason why is because obviously offensively he'd be a big bat, but John, his defensive numbers are fantastic. And I'm thinking about somebody like an Alex Bregman coming into this roster and infusing it with life and infusing it with veteran leadership, bringing a winning attitude into this roster for a guy like Zach Neto, for a guy like Logan O'Hoppe. Can you imagine a Bregman and a Zach Neto on the left side of the field? I think that could be fantastic. I know he's an Astro, and I know that we've got kind of a bitter taste in our mouth with that guy.
Hold on a second. Let me just do a little. Is this going to work? Are we over this? Are we not talking about that anymore? What are we doing?
Do you want to win?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to win.
Yeah, and does it matter how we win? No, I'm kidding. I think it does matter, but I was gonna do that, and then I realized like there's a qualifying offer there, and I
Sure.
just don't think that would be a smart move. So he is not listed in my signings for the rest of the show. So there's my 4 layers. I would love your overall response to my layers as I approach my roster and building the 2025 Angels.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how you're going to build things out because, yes, you did get rid of Rendon. Let's call him Riddone. You rid yourself of Rendon. And that's really funny to me because, yes, there's so much drama. There's so much will he, won't he stuff in play here in terms of is he going to play? Is he going to be on the bench? And sometimes just a clean break is what you need.
Yep.
Look, if I know everybody has their feelings about Josh Hamilton, and Artie definitely had to take a lot of money on to get rid of him off the team. But like, come on, the guy had a relapse, right? Yeah. And so, Rendon is just hurt all the time. So if you're going to cut somebody for, worse reasons, then at the very least you could do is cut Rendon and eat that sunk cost, because that's what it is, Mike. You're never going to get $38 million worth of play out of Rendon over the course of the year. Might be the worst free agent signing in Angels history, and maybe MLB history. I know that was it Strasburg has had a lot of back and forth. Funny, these Nationals, they really, the World Series Nationals really didn't have a lot of luck post World Series. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. I'm interested to see your signings. I haven't looked at them, and I'm really excited to be surprised by that. So before we continue, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Coming up on Locked On Angels, who's on Mike's team? Who's he picking? Who's he going to take? And who's he going to sign? We're going to get into all of that coming right up.
Today's episode of Locked On Angels is brought to you by Ibotta. This month, Ibotta is giving new users 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast. Just add the offers in the app to redeem for everything you need to make your Thanksgiving feast complete. I can't believe we're almost at Thanksgiving.
I know.
Is
that a Merry Christmas sign behind you?
Oh, we're decorated right here, baby. November 1st, man. We're ready for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. And we're going to use Ibotta to get some cash back, because you can, on hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods, so that you can get everything that you need for the holidays. Other apps just give you points. It doesn't really amount to much. But with Ibotta, you get real cash that you can have in your bank account or PayPal, or get it as a gift card, and you can use that cash on hundreds of different brands and get cash back on those same brands and retailers when you use Ibotta, like Lowe's and Macy's and Sephora and Best Buy and so much more. So download the Ibotta app and use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB, and you're going to get 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast starting in November. And it's November now, so it's all the way through till Thanksgiving. Download the app right now. Use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB. It's IBOTTA, and you can get that app in the Google Play Store or the App Store, and use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB.
And today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers out there, you've heard us talk about FanDuel a lot. You've seen it everywhere. And now it's time for you to get involved, because if you're a new customer, you can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Play this Sunday when you're watching the football games. FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, maybe you're watching your favorite team. Mike and I are watching the Niners play. We get a hunch, a stirring in our stomach. And it's not because we had too many snacks. It's because we got a good feeling about this game. You can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com is where it's at. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. And this is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Okay, John, I am playing GM, and I am going to let you know who is going to be on my team. John, Jared Weaver was on Foul Territory, and something you referenced, he said that the Angels, when he was on the team, were built on two things. Do you remember the two things that Jared Weaver said the Angels were built on?
Do I? Pitching and defense, baby. Let's go.
So you brought that up on your Wednesday show. I am all about that. And so I don't care that the Angels signed Kyle Hendricks. I don't care that he's on this roster. I am still making these three moves, 3 starters for my starting rotation, because I am tired of wondering if these guys are going to actually be effective. And so I'm going with a guy that I know I can count on. And then I'm taking a bit of a risk with 2 other guys, but I think it's a good risk, and I would love your thoughts. So the first signing that I am picking up is I'm going back to the well that I did last year. I'm going back to the guy that I wanted last year, and that is Jack Flaherty.
Back to Jack, baby.
I am signing him $23 million a year, 5-year deal. And so I wanted him last year. I still want him this year. John, he posted a 2.95 ERA with a 32% strikeout rate and a 4.6 walk rate in 18 starts with Detroit. And his percentage of first pitch strikes was one of the tops in the league. That's the other thing that really caught my attention.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite as good with the Dodgers, but he still gave the Dodgers 55 and a third innings pitched with a 2.58 ERA. That would have been the best on the Angels. And so that was not bad at all. He struck out 26.1% of his opponents and had a 8.1 walk rate with the Dodgers. He's entering his age 29 season. He has no qualifying offer connected to him, and I'm going to get him for 5 years. I'm going to get him in his peak years, and I think that this is a rotation solidifying move to bring somebody in like Jack Flaherty, who has playoff experience, has World Series experience, and is a proven winner. Your thoughts?
Yeah. You know what a difference a year can make, because last season you wanted to he was a risky choice for you. And he went from the Cardinals to the Orioles, didn't do so great with the Orioles. Then he has this offseason and the Tigers pick him up. Then the Tigers out of nowhere start, shattering all expectations and getting to the playoffs and, making our team the longest playoff drought in baseball. So
here we are.
Thank you, Tigers. I'm actually kind of glad for that. Thank you, Tigers.
Yeah.
Let's incentivize this team to get to the playoffs. But Mike, between Flaherty starting out so well with the Tigers and then going to the Dodgers, I mean, man, becomes one of the most desirable arms in all of baseball. I think $23 million for 5 years is a reasonable salary. I think you might even be able to squeeze like a 6th year in there at that salary. And the fact is, I know a lot of people say, well, why would anybody want to come here? One thing I was thinking about to myself was, publicly, the Angels don't really share their plan, but privately, you have to know that they're sharing something with these free agents. And I believe that the way that you convince them is to say, hey, we're going to add Jack Flaherty, or hey, we're going to add this guy or that guy, or our hope is to have you be the head of the starting rotation. Like, you're the guy, right? And so there's got to be something there. You can't just say, hey, you want to play with us? I don't think that's quite how it works. So I like that. I like that move, Mike. Jack Flaherty, $23 million, 5 years. Let's go.
All right, so I'm going to give you a name that you probably don't know or maybe haven't heard of yet, and I'm talking about the everydayers out there. I'm going to give this pitcher is a starting pitcher, and I'm going to give him 1 year, $12 million. And I'm using Spot Track for my numbers, and so these numbers are not just me throwing it out there. It's what Spot Track suggests. John, have you heard of Tomoeyuki Sugano?
Yeah. How about you saying that correctly? Let's go.
Yeah, I had it spelled out phonetically as well on the notes. So Sugano is one of the most successful pitchers in the NPB, and he is a 2-time winner of their version of the Cy Young. Okay. He had has a 2.43 ERA over 12 seasons in Japan.
Wow.
He's pitched almost 1,900 innings, and he's gone 136 and 74, and he's punched out 21.4% of his opponents with just a 4.6 walk rate. His strikeout numbers have dipped to the 17, 18 percentage rate over the past few seasons, but his command has gotten better. 3.8 walk rate in that time, including 2.6
Wow.
last season. He is throwing in the strike zone, throwing first pitch strikes. He pitched 156 and 2/3 innings last year, had a 1.67 ERA. Those are all the good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why I'm giving him 1 year is because he's 35.
Mm.
So he's older, but he's a veteran that I think comes to this team and makes an impact. John, this is the Kyle Hendricks move. This is the veteran that can help this team move. This is it. And this is going to be somebody that I can count on in my rotation, who's going to eat up innings, who knows how to get through innings, who knows how to throw strikes. He can be a great example for the younger guys. Plus, he's from Japan. And so there are still great fans that are watching the Angels in Japan.
Yeah.
And so this incentivizes them because they need an incentivizing, something to invite them to actually see this team because they're not great, right? And so let's take one of the guys that has been fantastic for them and let's place him on this team, and maybe perhaps he can help them win and bring more eyeballs to the Angels in Anaheim.
Oh, man, I'm heartbroken because you said the downside is that he's 35, and I'm like, what's wrong with being 35? No, I think that's a great move, and honestly, like you said, it gives room for the young pitchers to develop, makes the team stronger. You pair him with Jack Flaherty in that rotation, and then a Jose Soriano, maybe Kohanowitz, like we are hoping is going to be the case. Like that move, Mike. Actually, I'm seeing your next guy here. I'm liking that guy as well. Let's go.
Matthew Boyd.
Yep.
$10 million a year, 2 years. He's been injured the past few seasons. He had a flexor tendon surgery in 2021. He missed time. He also had Tommy John surgery in June of 23. He waited until he was healthy to sign a 1-year deal with the Guardians. And he looked healthy with the Guardians. He only started 8 games last year, but here's his numbers. 2.72 ERA, 27.7% strikeout rate, and a 7.8 walk rate. Notice all of my walk rates are really low. I went after guys that are going to throw strikes, man. And that was in 39 and 2/3 innings pitched. He also pitched in the playoffs, was pretty good, 11 and 2/3 innings of 1-run ball with a 14-6 K to walk rate ratio. And so he was good. Because of injuries, he hasn't topped 88 innings in a season since 2019. But despite that, and a career 4.85 ERA, his strikeout and walk rates have been far better than his baseline ERA. And some of the reasons for that high ERA is that he's given up a lot of home runs, but they've been solo home runs. He's a guy that can be a swing guy. He's a guy that can eat up innings. When I talk about innings eaters, he's going to do it successfully. And he can be somebody that doesn't need to be at the top of the rotation. He can be somebody that needs to spot start, maybe be a long reliever in the bullpen. I can use him in a lot of different ways, and I know he's going to be effective because he throws strikes and he doesn't walk a lot of guys.
So in your scenario, are we getting Roki Sasaki and these guys, or is this you're all in on Roki, that's your big splash, or you try to get these three? What do you say?
I am going for both. And so with Roki, there's just no guarantee if he's going to get posted. And so I'm moving with the idea of I'm going after him, but I'm still signing these guys because I'm not gonna not fulfill my roster and try to do what Artie has said that we want to do, and that's going to be competitive. And so these are the moves that I'm going to try to do to be competitive, and these are the guys I want to sign.
Okay, so you get these 3 guys, then who are the other 2 in the rotation? What do you say?
The other 2 in the rotation are going to be Tyler Anderson and Jose Soriano.
Okay.
And so I think that we have a strong starting 5.
Yeah.
And we've got the Kyle Hendricks move. We can use him kind of as a swing guy, eat up some innings, long reliever, maybe depending on how Matthew Boyd's doing. But I have 5 really strong guys, which then allows me to have Reed Detmer start in the minors or possibly use him as a trade piece. Use him as somebody that needs a new change of scenery, but I can still get a lot for him because he's got a lot of years and he's a good pitcher. I'm not ready to give up on him yet, but I'm going to give him some time to really figure some things out. And the truth is that you're going to have to use Reed this season because you do need about 10 starting pitchers. And so I'm going to have Reed Detmers is probably starter number 6 right now for me.
Yeah. You're going to need that depth in terms of pitching, and you signed a lot of depth. I'm proud of you. You know what? I'm going to let you off the hook for the ad because you did so much great talking. Let's go. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very same liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC.
John, I've labeled this segment the important pieces. So I got my starting rotation, and I think I got some good guys. Now I've got some important pieces. And so I would love your thoughts on if they actually are important pieces. So the first signing of the important pieces, and I only have two, is Tommy Canley.
You got another arm. Okay.
I got another arm. I got a guy that I can use in the bullpen. $6.5 million over 2 years. So this guy, he's older, but has had some health issues, 35, and he's a bit older. He got some health issues, but his effectiveness hasn't waned. He's been very, very good since 2019.
Yes.
When he's healthy, since 2019, he's been limited to 158 and 1/3 innings pitched, but he's also had a 2.90 ERA with a huge 30.9 strikeout rate. And it was more the same in 2024. He had 42 and 2/3 innings. He missed some time because he had a shoulder inflammation, but he threw a hard fastball, 94.2 miles an hour. That was actually a career low. So he's throwing it hard, but it's the lowest it's been. But despite that, 2.11 ERA, he fanned nearly 26% of his opponents, and he had a 16.4% swinging strike rate, which was tied for 14th among 402 pitchers that logged at least 40 innings in the major leagues last season.
So getting a lot of whiffs, if you will. 16.5%. Let's go. Yeah, Tommy Canley actually is somebody that I was eyeballing for my GM show, and it was between him and Spencer Turnbull, and I went with Turnbull just because I was really impressed with what he did with the Phillies this year. But yeah, this to me, Mike, is one of those like, hey, if you get 100 innings out of this guy, that's a boon for you. And then you've got him around for 2 years, $6.5 million each year. And like you said, he can be between the rotation and the bullpen. So yeah, I'm into the idea of Tommy Canley. Let's go.
And then the last piece that I'm getting is somebody similar to who you were trying to get.
Oh, what is this?
I'm getting Hassan Kim.
Yes.
10 million, 2 years. I've always wanted this guy.
Yeah.
And the reason why I've wanted this guy is because he's a plus defender at not just one position, but 3 infield positions: shortstop, second base, and third base. Plus, he's a plus runner. 60 for 74 in steals over the past 2 seasons, 76th percentile in sprint speed. He's an average hitter at the plate, but that's what we need. And I look at him as somebody that could potentially be a starter or a backup. Something that you had said on Wednesday that really stuck with me was, I don't want to go from superstar to scrub, right? I don't want no scrubs. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. And so I don't want any of that. I want somebody that's going to be good for me if I have him start or if I have him maybe back up. Plus, he plays 3 different positions.
Right.
Or maybe Rengifo can play second and he plays third until Christian Moore is ready. But he can also back up Zach Neto. Now, it doesn't have huge power. He topped out with 17 homers. And his ISO average was 132 to 138 over the past 3 seasons. He does have gap power. Yeah. And I like that because remember, a home run can be a rally killer,
Yeah.
but a hit in the gap, that's going to get you somewhere. And he
Mhm.
draws plenty of walks, 12.1% since opening day 2023. Struck out a career low 16.4% last season. And he's somebody that can fill a lot of spots. He's kind of another version of Rengifo. Doesn't switch hit, but he can move all over my infield, and I think move all over my lineup. So this is about $61.5 million, which would put me over the luxury tax. However, I did trade Taylor Ward. His $9 million is gone. And so it puts me at about $52.5 million. That was before they got Kyle Hendricks, but I'm ignoring that at this point. And keeps me under the luxury tax and gives me a great starting rotation, a bullpen to help the best part of the Angels right now, a bullpen piece, and an infielder that can play any position. And if I get rid of Rengifo, or I'm sorry, if you get rid of Rendon and I move Rengifo to third, then I have a strong major league caliber second baseman. John, your thoughts on my team in 2025?
I'm gonna throw a little wrinkle at you,
Okay.
because this is why I hesitated on Hassan Kim. I know that he won't be back until maybe May or June.
Okay.
How does GM Mike handle that in terms of the lineup, the roster? What do you say?
I think I'm going to have Christian Moore get the best opportunity as he possibly can and be somebody that is going to be ready to go. And I think I'm going to try Kyron Paris at the major league level as well, because I think you got to give that guy a shot. And those would be the two moves off the top of my head right now that I would do. I do want to give Moore a shot. If I'm the GM, I'm giving him every opportunity to thrive. And if he struggles, then by May, you can have Hassan Kim be in the lineup and give Christian Moore a bit of a reprieve in the minor leagues.
I like that. Yeah, because then you know, if you hit on Christian Moore and he's doing really great to start the season, you can find some room for Hassan Kim to come in and play around the infield, especially when you need to give Neto a day off or Rengifo a day off. He's somebody that can handle all of that. Mike, I really like this approach that you made. I like the 3 tiers, the 3 layers here. Like I said, like an Angels tiramisu. And it all starts with cutting the fat, right? Trimming the roster.
Yep.
I know you got to eat that money. It's not your money. It's somebody else's money.
Right.
And the fact is that when you get that attitude, that aura, that energy out of the locker room and let some of those young guys step into that role, I think that's a really good thing. So dismissing Rendon is a good idea. And I got to say that I like the, obviously I like the big picks like Jack Flaherty, but I also like some of the under the radar guys like Matthew Boyd, like Tommy Canley, because I think that a lot of people are going to be looking for their Snells and their Burnses. But to me, like I said, if you can, you know, squeeze the sponge and get 100 innings out of a Boyd or a Canley, and that's a success right there. I think that's the Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo type of move that not everybody's going to be paying attention to. And if you hit on it, you're going to do really well. If you don't hit on it, it's not that bad because they're cheap deals and you have lots of young arms coming up behind them that you want to see get some action in 2025. So overall, great stuff here. I think I would give you a solid B on these moves for GM Michael.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Now for your second listen, you can check out Locked On MLB. Sully's going to give you a blend of humor and baseball insight. He's going to keep you up to date on every rumor and story throughout the offseason. You can find his show on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, give us a follow on Twitter at Locked On Angels and also at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. Whether you're watching or listening, come on over to today's show. Get in the comment section on YouTube, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and interact with us there. Mike, what do we have on deck for Monday's show?
We asked you to share your GM moves, and you have. You can continue to share those, and we'll collect all that information, and we will talk about that on Monday on Locked On Angels.
GM week continues into next week. I love it. Thank you, Perry and Kyle Hendricks, I guess. All right, friends, we hope you'll come back after this weekend and join us on Monday. Until then, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Thanks for being here with us, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Bregman was going to be expensive. He was going to be $182 million, I think is what they suggested.